you don't know what you're missing. Go tell your family. Here comes the enemy, blowing up the Smart Tech remedy. Everybody get up, sing it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bible make you get down now. Bring it on, bring it on. Everybody get up, sing it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bible make you get down now. Bring it on, bring it on. Keep on moving on, keep on moving on. Keep on moving on, keep on moving on. Be the resident president of the fifth element. Jimmy Flies took a stone cold's how I'm hitting them. Better get together, put your hands in the sky. Stick 'em up, punk, hit 'em low, hit 'em high. Now I'm the bad boy that you invite for dinner. Ain't got no manners 'cause I eat with my feet.
Hello, everybody. Well, Aaron and Hugh right now. Hello. Mayor's here. Hello. Okay, this live stream is just for more Who the F Did I Marry? I'm aware Foodie Beauty did a mukbang earlier. I just can't bring myself to care. She's eating some more. She's getting bigger. There you go. That's what happened. So, welcome, Mayor. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. So, okay, we've been watching Who the F Did I Marry? We left off on, what did we leave off, you guys? Were we on 42? Part 42. So I may have titled this 43, but we're going to knock out, or try to right now, parts 42 through 55, because more has unraveled today. So Hugh sent me some clips. You guys, don't go looking for this because we're going to watch it together. We're knocking the rest of this out tonight, so tomorrow we can start fresh, because the ex-wife of Legion is speaking out, and her son. Hey, Brodello, welcome. Hey, Superstorm. Caught up with the story. I'm so invested. It's so good. And I was a little bit bummed because I'm like, I don't want to finish it because I don't want to solely have to focus on Foodie anymore. But luckily, so much more has unraveled. So I'm going to play an audio for you guys right now, an audio clip, because I want to just give you guys a little inside info on what's to come. So, Hugh, should I play the son or the ex-wife speaking? Which one do you think we should start with? Hey, Mrs. Carlet, Superstorm, welcome back, and thanks for not watching. I know, you guys, thank you so much for waiting for me. Hey, Mandy. Okay, listening ears. So pick, should I play both, Hugh, or one or the other? I think what I'm gonna play, son first. Okay, so everybody listen closely. I'm just playing the audio for now because tomorrow I'm hoping we can dive into this if I stop talking and we get to everything. Okay, so this is the son. Remember, the son of Legion's ex-wife. So let me turn this all the way up.
Guy, he told my mother he was like this big time producer. You know what I'm saying? It's actually funny as fuck. It's comical because, you know, what he did to us, I feel like isn't as severe as what, you know, he did to that lady. But then again, I couldn't tell you because, like I said, I haven't listened to her entire story. But he was on the top of time with the Lion and telling my mother he was a producer. He was going to do this and that. He had connections, all this shit. He played in the NFL, all this extra ass shit. He had a wife and a daughter, and they died in a car accident or some wild shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, later into their relationship and with me being there, I got there a little bit after they met, like a couple years after they met. I got there in 2011. And, you know, when it dawned on me, he was telling, you know, my mom all this stuff, and it dawned on me that this man was working in North Augusta, South Carolina, at a Christian TV station. You know what I'm saying? Doing like the electrical and all the shit in the background. It just didn't add up, guy. He told my mother he was like this big time producer.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. A big time producer with all these connections. I can say People who have connections don't tend to usually brag about them. So that's what we have in store. The ex-wife has also spoken out. I'm going to play just a little bit of it because, again, tomorrow we're going to dive into all of this. But I just want to give you guys a little taste of what's ahead.
It's the elephant in the room because it's been brought to my attention that my ex-husband is out here in these streets disturbing individuals as he always has.
Ooh.
And I have been brought into this. Let me first say, this chapter of my life is closed. I have moved on. It's been more than 10 years. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm good. Okay? But after I say this, let's just leave it alone. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm not going to address it anymore because I have nothing to do with this. This is my past life. The book is closed, okay? So Legion, as y'all call him, is a despicable, nasty, and vile individual.
Ooh.
I fell for the trap over 10 years ago. Yes, he was charming, and I was broken mentally. Okay? Understand, self-love was not here at all. For me to actually love myself enough to understand that this is not love. It's the elephant in the room.
Wow. I want to find out more. Hugh. So Hugh sent me a video that we're going to watch tomorrow, and we're going to watch all of that unfold. Yeah, Logic, no freaking way. I wonder if he tells these sob stories to disarm people and make that. I think so. He comes up with these heartbreaking stories where you're just like, oh, this poor broken person, he's endured much more than anybody else has, you know? That's how he gets people. These stories that my wife and my child died, my stepdaughter died of COVID. Like, he's sick. He's sick. They're all, yeah, exactly. So let me get ready to share the screen. If you are just catching up, I created a playlist. So it has, look for Who the F Did I Marry? And it has everything that we've covered so far, if you want to catch up. Because it's been a wild ride, and I don't know if we can catch you up all right now. So that's what I suggest. I made a playlist. Go back and watch it. And off we go, you guys.
Part 42, Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So I finished going through the book bag, still July 2021. I finished going through the book bag. There were some other folders with papers in there. He had left the work phone. Work phone. What I actually found out was that it was not a work phone. It was simply a secondary personal phone. He told me it was a work phone. I thought that the company was paying for the work phone. That's what I thought. No, because I found receipts where basically, and I didn't know this, ladies and gentlemen, I had no idea, but I found receipts where it was a prepaid phone and he's paying to add minutes to it. So it's just receipts of, you know, you added minutes to the phone on this date. You added minutes on that date. So the work phone whole thing, that was a bold-faced lie. Obviously, it was a lie because, as we now know, he was a forklift loader. So the work phone that he's been walking around with was really just a secondary phone. He had left the phone. He took his personal phone, meaning the main phone, I should say. But the work phone, he left. So I'm going through the work phone, just trying to find some sort of answer. Now what is really burning in my mind is how is it that he had all this money in the accounts? But again, the last time I saw him, he's living in his car. Like, the math is not mathing. I go into not just the photos of the work phone. I go into the deleted folder. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to go through somebody's phone, which I will never do again.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go through the phone, don't just go through the text messages and the pictures. Go into the deleted folder. Because sometimes you find a gold mine. In this case, I went into the deleted folder of the pictures in the work phone. I keep saying work phones because, again, this is just a secondary phone.
Yeah.
It is deactivated. There's no minutes on it. So I go into the deleted pictures.
Oh, no.
And what I see is what looks like a screenshot of his checking account, the one that I saw with the available balance. Then there's another photo of the screenshot of the savings that he showed me. Now, one of two things it could be. Either one, it's not real and it was pulled offline, or two, he took a screenshot of his own account and saved the photos. So this is when I got introduced to reverse Google image search. I did a reverse Google image search. Sure enough, as you probably have figured out, some of you, because I read it in the comments, what he showed me when he turned his phone around, showing me his available checking account balance, was nothing more than a screenshot that he had found on Google. When he showed me his savings, turned the phone around, because remember, I demonstrated for y'all how he was, and then
we were wondering, we're like, how is he showing proof of income and he clearly does not have this money in the account?
No, turned it around and showed it to me as if he was signing in. When he did that, he was simply showing me a screenshot that he had taken from Google Images. Because when I did a reverse Google image search with those two photos, the checking and the savings, it came right up. It was nothing more than just Google Images. In my phone, I still had, I didn't even need this because, again, I already knew that he was not a VP regional manager, but still, for shits and giggles, I did a reverse image search of the charcoal BMW. Remember I told y'all he had sent me pictures of the company car. Nothing more than a screenshot he had taken off of Google Images.
That's basically what I just told you, Ray, but I was muted, so you didn't hear it. I said this is the part we're at. So she went through his phone. She went through it, looked in the deleted pictures, and you know how he keeps showing proof of income? Oh, I have this in the bank. I have this in my offshore account. I have 12 grand. I have 768 grand. Like, it's all images he got from Google.
The house that he showed me that he had in San Diego, Google Images. So what we can now confirm is anything he showed me when he's turning his phone around is nothing more than an image from Google Images at this point. The checking account, the savings account, Google Images. The house, Google Images. Yeah, the company car, that charcoal gray BMW 5 Series, Google Images. So at this point, I realized, okay, nothing is real. And I wasn't so much in a rage, to be honest with you. I wasn't in a rage then and there, as much as it was, I really truly had a moment where I said to myself, oh my God, what the fuck have I let in my life? Like, this is not even human at this point. That's really how I felt. Like, again, as someone who, I studied psychology, but I didn't graduate with a psychology degree. However, I have never dealt with a pathological liar. I have studied about them, but I have never come into contact with a pathological liar. Because to a compulsive liar, if you ask them, man, why did you lie to me? They probably are going to have a reason. Pathological liars don't have a reason. Yeah. Like, there's no limit to the lie. So I have now.
The shitty thing too is you never find out, like, you want answers when all this stuff, like, why lie about this stuff? Why lie about people dying? Why lie about your career? Why lie about how much money you have? Why lie? And and you never get answers. It's wild.
Confirms that at least 70% of everything that I thought I knew is now absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. So in between all of this, I get a phone call from the aunt in Augusta. The aunt in Augusta, who Chris has confirmed is the mother's best friend. She is not their mother's sister or dad's sister. She's the best friend of the deceased mom. She calls me, and this is the one I have met. This is the one that Chris was like, I don't trust that hoe, anyway. So she called because she wanted to know what happened. Mm-hmm. She wasn't trying to be nosy or messy or anything like that. She's just trying to find out what happened because apparently Legion is trying to come stay with her.
Of course.
So she asked me, sweet lady, but she said, what happened with you guys? And I told her we're getting a divorce. I said, because he lied to me a lot. He lied to me a lot. And so what breaks my heart about the conversation with her is that she said, so whatever happened to the baby? Mind you, we went to Augusta, told her I was pregnant. I thought he told her that I had a miscarriage.
This mother effer has her having to keep explaining that they lost a baby. Like, he's fucked up.
He didn't. He never told this woman I had a miscarriage. So she informs me, this is what she tells me. So now we're confirming something else. She tells me that on at least 5 times while I'm at work, Legion was driving to Augusta and telling her that he was going to visit the church of where the parents allegedly started, the church that the parents started.
Oh!
And I was like, what do you mean he went to Augusta? She said, I've seen him like 4 or 5 times. He's come down here. And each time I've asked him to bring the baby. And I said, what baby?
To bring the
and
baby?
She said, the baby that y'all had. He told me that y'all had a baby boy. And I said, no, ma'am. I said, I had a miscarriage in June of 2020. And she said, oh my God. Oh, she was doing that whole thing. She said this whole time he told me that y'all had a son in January. And I had been asking him for pictures. I had been asking him to bring both of you down here so I could meet him. And he always had an excuse as to why he wouldn't bring the baby. And the last time he was in Augusta, he said that he was leaving you and he was taking the baby with him and that you were at work.
This mother freaker.
I'm not making this up. That is what that woman told me. And I just was like, no, ma'am, none of that is true. There is no baby. I said, I had no idea he was going to Augusta. Next part. Part 43, who the fuck did I marry? So after the conversation with the aunt, again, she's telling me that Legion has been keeping up this lie that we had a son. I let her know, no, ma'am, there was no baby. We did not have a baby. And I said, I thought that he told you. And she said, he's told a few people that you all had a baby. And she said, because I know some people were trying to send a gift to celebrate the birth. I didn't know anything about that. Didn't know anything about that. So she said, he's trying
It
to.
was probably like when they were offering to send a gift. No, just a Cash App will do. You can Zelle me, Venmo me.
Come stay with me. She said, but I don't think I want him to, again, she's an older lady. She's like, I don't think I want him to come here because I don't really want to get involved with his divorce again. And I said, what do you mean again? I said, are you talking about the previous wife? And I said the previous ex-wife's name. She said, I don't know who that is. I'm talking about Latanya, that one, the first one. And I said, well, what happened? Do y'all remember I said in my previous video that I read their divorce records. He had filed for divorce and they had a temporary protection order against each other. I said that. So now the aunt is on the phone saying that she had to go to court and testify on Legion's behalf in regards to the temporary protective order. And I was like, well, what happened? She said they got into a fight with each other. And she slapped him. And I said, well, do you know why they got into a fight? And she said, yeah, apparently he had lied to the wife and it was something major and they got into a physical fight. And
of course, and they almost got into one if she didn't control herself and get him out that moment. That's what he does. I'm not saying violence is okay. Like, I'm not saying that, but he brings people to like their breaking point.
And she said that woman almost beat his behind.
Yeah.
And so he asked the court for a temporary protective order. So now I'm just getting the backstory on how that TPO was even came into play. So I told her, I said, Miss Christy, we'll call her. I said, you don't have to worry about that. I said, we're not, he's already signed the paperwork. We're not fighting. I don't have it in me. I don't. So I said, I'm not going to tell you not to have certain people in your home, but I am going to tell you that I'm just barely kind of discovering exactly what the lies are in regards to Legion. Yeah. So if you feel comfortable having him in your home, then do it. I said, but I am going forward with this divorce. And once the divorce is final, I will have nothing to do with him. And I said, and I'm so sorry, that he lied to you and kind of pulled at your heartstrings in regards to a baby. I said, there is no baby. So she said, so y'all are really getting a divorce? I said, and I didn't want to cuss to the older ladies, but I said, yes, ma'am, we are. And so we get off the phone. Also during this time, Legion would call me every now and then. Legion had no idea. I've spoken to his ex-wife. I've spoken to his brother. I've spoken to his female cousin. He had no idea. I have now, if we want to go through real quick and talk about what we can confirm. Okay. We can confirm that there is no sister. We already knew there was no baby. There was no VP job. Again, he was a temp. And apparently he was making decent money. So what I believe, and this is just what I think off of putting pieces together, I think that he made enough money to pay the household bills because it wasn't as if the household bills were so expensive. He made enough money to live on his own. But instead of him living on his own, he's living with me. Yeah. So we can also confirm that when he told me that he was paying his car off and he called the dealership and paid his car off, we can confirm that that's a lie. That story will come up later on. So pretty much at this point, the only thing I know to be true, his name, his date of birth, the secondary social security number that was on my background check, and that he has 2 brothers and the parents are deceased. At this point in time of July 2021, that is all I can. That's all that I was able to confirm that to be true. So later on, Legion calls me. He calls me because he wants some money.
Of course.
He just needs a little bit of money to hold him over until payday. And so
he just needs to leave this lady alone.
So we're on the phone. The call again. I was recording all my calls at the time. We're on the phone, and I finally kind of confronted him. Number one, about having a twin. That's when he tells me, I don't know why I lied, but I don't really talk about him. Number two, I asked him why did he get fired from the condiment company? Yeah. His story is that he got fired because he had helped a truck driver and he was not supposed to. I know it's a lie. Y'all don't even have to tell me. I know.
I was gonna say, of all the reasons to get fired, because he helped a truck driver and he wasn't supposed to.
It was a lie. Number three, I asked him, why did you tell your aunt that we had a baby? He claims he never told her that.
Liar.
And that she's old and she didn't know what she was talking about.
Liar, liar, liar.
So then I asked him if he was ever in trouble where he's been arrested. And he said, yeah, I've been arrested as a juvenile, but my father had my record expunged. I said, were you ever arrested as an adult? He said, no.
Queen, we're actually not that far into it because we talked a lot. If you speed it up, that's what Hugh told someone else to do. I think Freedom too. If you speed it up, you won't be that far behind us right now.
I never been arrested as an adult. I said, so you never went to weekend jail? He said, no, I don't even know what that is. So he doesn't know what weekend jail is. That's his story. And so he was still standing by the lies he told me. So finally, I just asked him, and this is where let me just say it. I asked him, why the hell did you even marry me? Like, why? Why did you even marry me? Because you easily could have just stayed dating or been the boyfriend or just moved on with your life. Like, you didn't have to marry me. You didn't have to pull me into a marriage and make me think that this is what you wanted. This is what he said to me on that phone call. He said, I had to marry you. And I was like, no, you didn't. He said, yes, I did. He said, I knew full well from day one that there was no way you were going to stay my girlfriend for longer than a year. He said, I knew it. He said, I knew in order to keep you, I was going to have to marry you.
See, he's a professional at what he does. He is.
Y'all, my jaw hit
the
ground. I could not believe he said that. And he said it so matter of fact. And I was like, that is the most fucked up thing you could ever say. Part 44.
Okay.
Who the fuck did I marry? The videos that you saw earlier were filmed earlier today. And yes, I'm aware. It was brought to my attention.
I'm sorry, but she is too pretty for him. I've seen him, and she is beautiful and so far out of his league. It's not even funny. Even the ex-wife is really pretty. Like, what is it about this guy? Is he a good talker? Like, good at convincing people? Clearly, I mean, I know the answer to that. I know the answer, but it's just wild to me. Like, she's so far out of his league.
Decision whether or not to finish, keep my word, or stop, disappear. I mean, disappear. Okay. Let's finish. So, first of all, let me say this. It is not easy telling this story. It's entertaining. I know it's gone viral. But it is not easy telling this story. I made a decision to tell the story. I made a decision to share my story, what I went through, in hopes that it helps just one person. But I would be remiss if I didn't tell you all, it is not easy telling this story, to relive it, to face certain things out loud that I had to face internally. Just want to say that. So I will push forward to finish, but today got to me. The toll of this got to me today. So I know that you all are like, we're waiting on the next part. We're waiting on the next part. I appreciate that. And I get it. Because if I was in those shoes, I would be waiting too and be like, where is it? So I understand that. But the toll was real today. All right. So with that being said, we are still in July of 2021. I talked to the brother, Chris. I talked to the aunt. I talked to all these people. And now was the time where I had saw the receipts for the weekend jail type thing. So I went ahead and did a search for his criminal history.
Oh, gosh.
I ran his criminal history. I did that on my own at home with my money. So this was not, I think someone had asked if I did anything with my job. No, I did not. I know better. So I ran a criminal history, or I paid for a criminal background report. For him to say that he appreciates law enforcement so much, it was obviously a lie, because the criminal history showed that he had been arrested for criminal trespassing. He had been arrested for suspended license, suspended registration. But the big thing was impersonating an officer. What? You don't know anything about impersonating an officer. It is a felony. Period.
Impersonating an officer. And remember, he has the utmost respect for law enforcement. Oh my God.
Point blank. As sure as Peachtree runs from Bankhead to Buckhead, it is a felony. So seeing what court it was in, I did another open records request for the incident report. I wanted to know exactly what the circumstances were, especially given the fact that I worked in law enforcement at the time. What were the circumstances as to how he was arrested for impersonating an officer? So I did an open records request. I got the incident report, and I'm tired of saying my jaw hit the floor. But on this one, my jaw hit the fucking floor.
Yeah.
I respect law enforcement. Again, I was working in an agency with a lot of great men and women. Basically, what the incident report, and I'm paraphrasing it because I don't have it sitting in front of me. Basically, what the incident report shows is that he pretended to be an officer using a badge. I later found out it was the badge that his dad had as a former correction officer.
No.
Same last name.
No.
So he was pretending to be a police officer at an apartment complex on the south side of Atlanta, and proceeded to tell people that he was an investigator and he was looking for drugs. He also proceeded to try to pat down someone, and then also proceeded.
he proceeded to pat down someone. My jaw's hitting the floor too.
To try to go into a woman's apartment and do a search. This is in the incident report.
No, oh my God, he's more dangerous than I thought.
So naturally, the woman who he was trying to get into her apartment to do a search happened to either work with or worked at a local police department. So she just simply called her coworkers or called her homeboys or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he was subsequently arrested and subsequently was charged and found guilty. That is what I found in his criminal record report. It is fair to note, had I known that he had a criminal history, we never would have even finished date number 1. Some things I'm just not going to get involved with if I know from the rip.
You want to know another thing I've learned from her? You can find info on anybody, so do your research. Everybody out there meeting somebody for the first time, it's apparently really easy to find out all this stuff. Do your research.
So what does this mean? Again, we've been going over what's the lie, what can you confirm? I can confirm that there was no way that this man ever had a passport to take me to London. When he claimed that he was voting in the election, there's no way that he did, because he tried to tell me that he was still a registered voter in California and that he did it online. I knew it was a lie, but again, at this point in July, I'm able to confirm that, yeah, you never had a passport. You never voted. The small things that mean something to me, he never did it. He wasn't eligible to. So now I know that not only have you, yes, been arrested. Now, what happened as a juvenile, I don't care, but you have been arrested. You have done some sort of time. And now it explains why you knew your way around the county so well. If you go back to the previous videos, I had mentioned that I was wondering, how do you know your way around here? And the story was his sister used to live in this county and he would come visit when he would fly in from California, when he would go see his parents in Augusta. That was the story. So that explains the criminal history. And I'm also going to take you guys back and remind you when I had to go in for my polygraph.
It honestly scares me. Like, thank God she got out. Like, it sucks what she went through. But like, for somebody to impersonate law enforcement, pat people down, try to get into women's apartments to do searches, like, it's actually terrifying. And like, what is he actually capable of?
Polygraph. And how the polygrapher had asked me, do you know anyone that is a convicted felon that you have relationships with, blah, blah, blah. And remember, I said to him, my husband and I are estranged. I honestly don't know. Fast forward to July, where I find out that, yes, in fact, on top of everything, I was married to a convicted felon.
Fuck.
Had no idea.
Oh,
no idea whatsoever.
Research.
And it's nothing but the grace of God that I was honest with the polygrapher and telling him, look, I don't know what's in this man's background. To say that I have no idea who I married is an understatement. It is a complete understatement. It's fair to say, well, you only knew him for like 2.5 weeks before you quarantined with him. That's fair. And I can understand that. And I take responsibility for that. But in the big scheme of things, I had no idea the creature that I was sleeping next to every night. No idea.
Oh, God. Thank God you got
All right,
out.
part 45, who the fuck did I marry? So we are now end of July, August timeframe. During this time, Legion basically disappeared. Remember, I'm still waiting on the final divorce decree to come up. I'm actually waiting for the 30 days to be up so I can file the divorce settlement form. So I'm waiting on those 30 days to be up. I'm playing nice with him. I'm being cordial. I have uncovered all kinds of stuff. But just in case he was going to act a fool, I was trying to be cordial. So I had spoken to him on like a Monday, and I was trying to get a hold of him for something. But I'm the one that initiated a phone call in the coming days. Never heard from him. Never heard from him at all. His phone was dead. It was going straight to voicemail. And I genuinely was worried. A few days turned into a week. By the time I hadn't heard from him in a week, because I knew he was not living anywhere but his car. I knew that. So this is what happened, y'all.
What?
I first reached out on Facebook. Remember, even though he has told me that he had all these siblings, we know he didn't have all these siblings. But remember, I told y'all I had met the brother in Augusta. And I had met the brother in Baltimore. These are people I've met. The brother in Baltimore I talked to on FaceTime. The brother in Augusta, I've actually physically met, hugged, shake hands, all that. So I reached out on Facebook to people that I remember him talking about all the time. The friend Omar, the brother in Augusta, the brother in Baltimore, another cousin in Augusta. I was doing a search for these people's names, just like, hey, have you heard from Legion? The brother in Augusta told me, no, I haven't heard from him. I've been trying to reach him, but the phone's going straight to voicemail. I knew he was living in his car. So my brain was doing everything it could not to go on the deep end. I reached out on Facebook to the brother in Baltimore. And I said, hey, gave him my name. And I said, have you heard from Legion? Now, mind you, the brother in Baltimore and him have talked on speakerphone. I guess it's important that I make that distinction. They have talked on speakerphone.
Matthew, it's really bad. He was impersonating an officer, trying to do pat downs. Like, they can fill, like, will you guys fill Matthew in on the chat, because I don't want to get stuck, but it's bad, Matthew. Like, it's bad.
So I know that they had talked at least in 2020. So I said to him, again, according to Legion, they talk all the time, but I've heard them on the phone in 2020. So I said, have you talked to him? The brother from Baltimore informs me, no, I ain't talked to him. He owes me money. So I ain't got nothing to say to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, wait a second. Like, he was telling me that y'all are brothers. He was like, man, he's like a brother, but I don't fuck with it. I don't fuck with him because he owes me money. So they had not spoken. This is now July 2021. They had not spoken in well over 6 months.
So what do we know, you guys? Nobody likes this guy. He's fucked over everybody. He screws everybody over. Nobody can stand him. And he lies about everything.
So all the phone calls, this is what it means, guys. All the phone calls that he had with the brother in Baltimore in 2021 were not real. Then I reached out to the Omar guy. And I remember the story was that he and him known each other's years since California, worked together at a condiment company. I reached out to Omar and said, have you heard from Legion by any chance? Explained who I was. He responds with, and I'll never forget it. He responds with, no, I have not heard from him. I have absolutely no contact with him whatsoever. We are not friends. And I would appreciate if you do not reach out to me again about him. The stories I was told was that this dude is supposedly his best friend. Shocking moment.
Wow.
So they had not spoken in years. They're not cool.
No
He does not
kidding.
fool with him. Okay. Went on to the next person, a female cousin I had met. She said, no, I have not heard from him. Why would I hear from him? We don't really talk. Like, I think she was genuinely weirded out by the fact that I'm reaching out to her out of the blue asking, hey.
Matthew, I totally read that. Is all I know for sure is that Breezy's mama should have swallowed. That's seriously how I read it right now. I know that's not what you meant, though. Yeah, when you call out liars and they fold. Exactly. Oh, my God.
By any chance, have you talked to my soon-to-be ex-husband? So what I discovered because he ended up being gone for 2 weeks. What I discovered in those 2 weeks, let me be very clear with the statement I'm getting ready to make. I reached out to every person I know who apparently has had some form of relationship with him. Either he said that they were friends, they talked on the phone, he said they hung out. The brother in Baltimore, I was told, had been to the house while I was at work. Brother in Baltimore said, no, that never happened. I've never been to your house. All these people knew that Legion was a liar.
Hey, Satan.
And I think that they all felt bad, with the exception of the Omar guy, felt bad that I was kind of just discovering what they've known for years. In those 2 weeks, I found out every single person I reached out to, not a single one of them gave a shit if that man was dead or alive.
Wow.
All of them had the attitude, some even said it, no, I haven't heard from him. I don't care to hear from him. It was as if...
That's so telling. When nobody cares about you or wants to deal with you, I wonder why.
It was, for me, it was such a sad moment because I discovered this man has no friends. Fuck whatever he has said. I'm now able to prove it. He has no friends. There is nobody who is concerned that they have not heard or seen him in over 2 weeks. Some people months. One guy years. None of them were concerned. So basically what I'm saying is that I discovered he had burned bridges with everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
Burned bridges with family, burned bridges with so-called friends, burned bridges with fake brothers, fake sisters, fake aunties, uncles, everything. He had burned bridges with everyone. And for me, that was more telling than anything else. Yes, I knew he was a liar. Yes, I knew he had made stuff up. I was genuinely surprised to discover nobody gave a shit about this man.
I think Legion got a place to stay. I think he's always just looking for the next best thing, right? Somebody to provide a roof over his head, whatever else. I mean, she gave him a lot. Like, what did he really give to her other than a headache?
No one.
Plus, it's the game. You have to realize these people are so effed up. It's like a game. How many women can I make fall in love with me? How many women can I get things from? It's a game.
I had never met every single family member, but the fact that he was living in his car, the fact that he wasn't bathing and was just had disappeared was shocking to me. So where was he for those 2 weeks? Glad you asked. He had checked himself into a behavioral hospital in Augusta. Why? Not to get help. No, this is July in Georgia. It's hot as hell. It's sweaty. It's damp. It's humid. It's everything. He checked himself into a hospital so he could stop sleeping in his car for 2 weeks.
Oh my God, it's a thing. Like in California, the shelters are full when it's raining, and when it's cold, it's a thing. And like a lot of the people don't really want the help. They're just there temporary. Like hopefully there's people there that want help, but for the most part, it's you get something out of it. Just like rehabs, sober livings, full when the weather's bad, but when it's sunny, when the weather's warm, empty. Everybody's out doing their shit.
When he checked himself in, they took his phone, and that's why no one was able to get a hold of him. And by no one, I mean me. He checked himself into a hospital so that he could have a bed for a couple of weeks. That's the type of human being that I was dealing with. Part 46, who the fuck did I marry?
Mm-hmm.
So after the whole missing in action debacle where he disappeared for a couple of weeks, Legion started calling and texting me, telling me that he was ready to come home. Yes, you heard that correct.
Come home?
So apparently someone had told him that legally he did not have to leave the house when I kicked him out because it was a marital home and he had just as much right to be there as I did. So he started harassing and calling the shit out of me.
No.
He was calling, 30 times in 1 hour. He was Facebook Messenger calling me. Let me be clear. Facebook Messenger calling me. He was calling me so much. He was messaging me saying, I'm coming home. I'm going to get some money and drive up from Augusta. You have to let me in the house. It's not fair what you're doing. All this other bullshit.
He's been out for a certain amount of time. He doesn't have rights anymore, right? Because he's left. He hasn't been there for a long time. I could see where he would have rights before, but he's been gone.
It was nonstop. He would start calling at 7 o'clock in the morning. He would not stop calling until 10 o'clock at night. He was calling so much, leaving messages, like I said, just straight up harassing me.
Oh my God.
So I reached out to attorney friends. I reached out to local law enforcement. Local law enforcement informed me, well, technically, he's right.
No.
Because he is still legally your husband. Our divorce had not been finalized at this point. The paperwork had been sent in. I was just waiting on the judge to give me her signature, but it hadn't happened.
Different if it was finalized then.
Yet. So the local law enforcement did tell me if he comes back, our officers would have to let him in the house. You don't have to stay there. They gave me different options. I was trying everything in the book because he is saying, I'm coming back to the house. I told him, do not come. You were not welcome. I'm not letting you in the house. Again, the locks had been changed. The code had been changed. So I told him, if you come to this house, step foot on this property, I'm calling the police and getting you arrested for trespassing. You should know about that. He was adamant. He was adamant that he was allowed back in the home. He didn't know the conversations I had with local law enforcement.
Okay.
But somebody was in his ear telling him, nah, you can go home.
Can somebody I really need to know. Please tell me that he doesn't go back there and live there. Please, I'm going to die inside if he does.
Because she's not allowed to kick you out. Okay. So I didn't know when he was scheduled to come because he was trying to get the money for the gas to get back to Clinton County. I tried everything I could. Basically, what my options were simple. Let him in the home, and I can stay in the home, put him in a room, just have no dealings with him. But again, I don't want to be under the same roof with him. This is what the local police told me. I could have an officer go room to room and let his body cam film the room to see the condition of the house. And if Legion showed up, I would leave the house. I can go to a family member's home and stay there. This is literally in August, right before my lease is up. So I was already moving. I had already secured another home, did exactly what I said I was going to do, moving to Cobb County. So I just needed a couple of weeks before I vacate the home. So the other option was, again, have the officer film the home with the body camera. That way it shows what the condition of the home is at the time that he moved in. So if anything gets messed up, I can sue him. What am I going to sue him for?
Nothing.
But nevertheless, or the third option is I can stay there with him, make life miserable. So my plan was the option of have them film the home. I was not staying in the same house with him. I didn't care. Also, there was no guarantee. And I told the officer this, look, if y'all allow him to stay in this house, I am telling you by tomorrow morning, every utility in this house will be off. He will have no running water. He will have no air condition.
Good.
This place will feel like a sauna.
Good.
Officer kind of chuckled and was like, again, ma'am, this is one of those domestic situations. He is allowed in the home. Okay. So again, I had no idea when he was coming. I was on pins and needles every day. I'm seeing the phone ring, like I said, about 30 times every hour. I'm seeing the messages. I'm seeing this. I had reached out to a police captain. I had reached out to the chief of police. I was trying to get all kinds of help. Like, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. So he eventually tells me I'm going to be there on Wednesday. This is just an example. I'm going to be there on Wednesday. I had been calling a police captain who was really gracious, really kind, and was trying to help me because I was like, bro, I just need 2 weeks and I'm out of this house. And we already knew he legally could not go to the new house. I was trying to see if I could move in early to the new place. The landlord was like, I really can't let you. So I felt like I was running out of options. He's saying he's coming. He's saying he's coming. He's adamant he's coming. I guess somebody felt sorry and gave him some gas money so he could drive from Augusta up to Clayton County. So the day before all this goes down, the police captain called me and he informs me that they ran his name through GCIC, which is a database that law enforcement agencies use.
Hey, great.
It turns out he has a warrant for his arrest. So the police captain says this changes everything. If he shows up to the house, don't do anything. Call us. I will have officers to your home, and they will simply arrest him.
Oh my God.
So I know that this is a short part, but I'm going to dedicate the next part to what happened when he showed up to my house.
Please. Okay.
Part 47. Who the fuck did I marry? So here's what happened. This was mid-August. Went to work as usual. It actually happened on a Friday. I had to look at the dates. It happened on a Friday. Went to work. Still, he was calling me, texting me, messaging me that he was on his way. And so I was a bit on pins and needles all day. I was dreading going home, and that is a horrible feeling to dread to go home. So he had called me and said that he was at the house in the driveway. I guess he had to use the restroom, so he decided to go to the Walmart up the street to go use the bathroom. I wasn't answering phone calls. I wasn't answering text messages. I simply called the police captain. I said, hey, he's saying that he's at the house. The police captain himself drove by the house, but I believe he drove by the house when Legion went to Walmart to use the bathroom. Mm-hmm. So the police captain was like, I don't see anyone there. But again, when you get home, if he is there, do not engage. Call us. Okay, no problem. Because I got you on speed dial. So I go home. I'm on the phone with both my mother and my aunt on a 3-way call. They're both like, oh my God, you know, what do we need to do? I drive into my subdivision. What he did not know was that he had backed into the driveway up against the garage. Normally I park my car in the garage, but what he didn't know was that at the time I was driving a fleet car. So I wasn't even in my normal car. Okay. And I know that he was waiting to see my car, the Nissan Altima that he helped get, pull in to the subdivision and then pull in towards my townhome. That didn't happen because I'm in a different car. He didn't recognize it. So when I turned onto my street, as sure as it is hot in Georgia in the summer, that man was sitting in the driveway in his Ford Taurus. Okay. So I live at the time, not far from a cul-de-sac. So when you go straight down, you just turn around the cul-de-sac to come back up. So that's exactly what I did. I went to the corner, turned also that I can see the house, but he would not have been able to see me. I went ahead and called 911. I was very calm, told him exactly what the captain had told me to say. I was like, my name is, the address is, I need police here because my ex-husband is here. He is not supposed to be here. And I feel as though I am in danger. She said, okay. She, again, regular phone call. She said, we're dispatching police to your home. As soon as I hang up, I then call the police captain. He immediately answers the phone. He says, we just got the call. I'm sending 4 officers your way. Okay, good. Get off the phone, call my mom and my aunt back because they were both like, call us back. Call them back on 3-way. I continue to sit there until I see 4 officers, 4 cars pull in and stop just in front of my house. So then I ease up. He gets out the car, I guess, trying to see what's going on. I explain to the officer that walks to my window. I say, this is what's going on. So I was trying to sound extra law enforcement smart. I was like, check him through GCIC. You're going to find that he has a warrant out for his arrest for violation of probation. And the officer kind of smirked because she was like, we know, we already checked GCIC. The captain called us. So I was like, okay. So anyway, they tell me to sit in the car. They go up to the window of the car and ask him to step out of the car. He does. When he stepped out of the car, I was like, oh my God. I hadn't seen him since the end of June when I met him at the UPS store. And he looked bad then. Yeah. He was still in the same clothes. When I told you guys when I met him, he was like a size 3X. What got out of the car was easily a medium or large. Wow. Easily. That is how, and it makes sense because, he probably wasn't eating, except for somebody gave him $6.
On a side note, I'm not going to say what it is, but there's been theories of what people think is actually wrong with him. Just FYI, he allegedly might be very ill.
For chicken nuggets, but what got out of the car was something I didn't even recognize. So he gets out of the car, they arrest him. There was no incident or anything like that. He was arrested.
He got arrested. Oh my God. Woohoo! I've never been so happy for somebody to go to jail.
Peacefully. They put him in the back seat. My neighbors are all looking like, what is going on? And so the officer comes up to me and she said, he's asking to speak to you. Do you want to speak to him? I said, yeah. So she walks with me. Keep in mind, she's wearing a body cam.
So she walks with me to the window. They put the window down. And I remember looking at him. I was like, I told you not to come. And he said, I just wanted to get my stuff. I just wanted to get the TV. I said, what TV? The TV that you gave me in the divorce?
Ooh.
And he was like, yeah, that TV. And I said, it's mine. You gave it to me. I have the fucking text messages proving that you gave me the TV. And I'm trying not to scream because the neighbors are all watching.
Yeah.
And he was like, I know. I just needed my stuff. I'm sorry. I'll never bother you again. I'm sorry. And so I look at the officer and I was like, you have me out here with 4 fucking police cars. You have embarrassed me to no end. You have made a fool of me. And you got the audacity to now be like, I'm sorry. I'm like, fuck, you're sorry. So the officer was kind of like, okay. I said, I never want to see you again.
Good.
He was like, you won't. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So I walk off. The officer is like, going through the stuff that was in his wallet. They took it out and put it on the roof of the car. So the stuff that was in his pants, like his wallet, his keys, they put it on the roof of the car when they had him get out the car. And so she's just like, I said, did you catch all that on body cam? And she said, yeah. I said, he gave me the TV. And she said, yeah. She's like, we're going to take him in and,
Good.
we'll have somebody look at him, because in her words, she said he's definitely having a mental episode right now in the backseat. And I just shrugged and I was just like, my God, I just said, I just want to be done with him. I just want to be done. And so she was like, I understand. I totally get it. So his car is in my driveway. The keys and everything are, they took it with them because I guess since it was on him, they took it with them for processing at the jail. I think that's how that works, because I didn't see the wallet or the keys afterwards. So at this point, 4 officers leave. I go into the house. Everything's peaceful and calm. A few minutes later, I go outside to check the mail. What's in the mail but a letter from the court?
Uh-huh.
I open it up. I go into the house because, again, it's hot. I have my wig on. My head is all sweaty and stuff. I'm just angry and just angry. That raised my blood pressure.
Yeah.
So I go in the house. I sit on the steps inside the house and I open up the mail from the judge. And it's my final divorce decree.
Yes.
And I'm smiling right now. But y'all, when I got that divorce decree sitting on the stairs, I broke down into ugly Oprah tears.
Oh my God, you guys, I'm so happy for her. So he gets arrested. She gets her divorce. She's much nicer than me, because if he was begging for the TV that bad, I probably would have brought it out and like broke it in front of him, and then I would have gone to jail too. But
I broke down. It was as if a year worth of weight came off of me. I broke down, and I mean, I wailed.
Yeah.
I broke down. I broke down so bad. All right, part 48. Who the fuck did I marry? So after I finished breaking down,
how many followers on TikTok does she have now? Did you tell me like over 2 million? And I'm looking too, as we're watching this, 12,000 people had saved it at the time. Like, this is so big, and she honestly deserves the attention and the recognition and all the good things coming her way. I mean, we've gone through this story with her. At times, like, I wanted to cry. At times I was like anxious. It's like a whole roller coaster. And with all of this, you almost feel like you know her now. And I'm just rooting for her so much. I hope that asshole Legion doesn't get any clout. I know he's trying to shop around his story. I hope he doesn't get anything. He's gross.
Wipe my tears. And his car is still in the driveway. I couldn't park in the driveway. So I called the car company. I had called the car company once before, when he went missing for those 2 weeks, to ask them if they maybe had a tracker on the car and could track it. And the nice gentleman informed me that the tracker had not been giving a signal off for about 5 months. So he wouldn't really give me details on the car, but obviously the car payment was not being made on that car. It had not been made on that car for quite some time. So he and I split in June, but apparently the car payment wasn't made long before June. Can't speak to that, but he still had the car. Mm-hmm. So, called the car company. I told them, I understand that y'all looking for this Ford Taurus. And the lady said, yes, or you can make a payment. I said, no, y'all can come get it. Here's the address. When do y'all want to get it? And she said, well, I can have a driver come get it tomorrow morning. I said, no problem. That car will be ready for you to get it tomorrow morning. And so the car was repossessed out of my driveway the next morning, Saturday. The driver was there about 7:00 in the morning. He had the master key for the car, cranked it up, drove it, put it on the tow truck, and left. Here's what that now means. When Legion left my house in June, he left with 2 bags of clothes. Everything else was in my house. At the end of July, or towards the end of July, everything that he had left in my house had been donated to the domestic violence shelter, which means that the only thing that Legion had were the clothes that he had taken with him in the car. When he got arrested in my driveway, all of his clothes were still in the car. And when the car got repossessed Saturday morning, all of the clothes were in there,
Mhm.
which means that when he went to jail, whenever he got out, he only got out with keys to a car he no longer had, a
Damn.
wallet with probably no money in it, and the clothes that were on his back.
Oh,
Everything else was gone.
good.
Now we can fast forward to what happened around August 29th. So I was scheduled to move August 31st. Remember, I'm moving up to Cobb County. We had been checking the court documents. He had a court date scheduled for around August 29th or August 30th. I don't remember the exact date. The court time was supposed to be around 9 o'clock in the morning. My mom was watching the court filings online that was still in the house. I felt free.
Yeah.
So when the court date happened and my mom told me what she saw on the Zoom, I was confused. Is he getting out? Is he having to serve time? What's going on? I called the courts. I tried to speak to his attorney, and his attorney had a horrible attitude and was like, "Why are you calling me?" And I informed him. I said, "Look, I'm a bit afraid of this man. So can you please just tell me if he is being released or is he going to be kept, or if he is going to be sentenced to a longer jail term?" He said, "No, he's not being kept in a longer jail term because the warrant had expired." So when the police arrested him, yes, it was a valid arrest, but the warrant had expired. So I believe the warrant had expired like 6 months earlier, but of course it wasn't put in the system.
I didn't know warrants can expire.
Which means that if the court date is August 29th, he's going to be released August 29th or August 30th. I'm moving August 31st. So my mom was just like, "Please just spend the night at your aunt's house. Like, just spend the night at your aunt's house, then go back to the house during the day. The movers will be there, and then just move." So that's exactly what I did because there was concern.
Wait, Queen, is today the day? Is today your 7 years? If so, congratulations.
That he would get out of jail angry and catch an Uber with no money and come back to the house, either for retaliation or because he's just in a fucking manic mode. And so that's where he went. I really didn't want to take any chances. It's just that simple. I did not want to take any chances. I knew that at that point, legally, the law's on my side.
I just want to tell you, Queen, that I am so proud of you. Congratulations. Like, truly spoil yourself. And I don't know if you are. I'm hoping you are. Like, be so freaking proud of yourself. 7 years is amazing. That's incredible. And I know there's many more years of sobriety and blessings ahead for you. And I can't wait to see what's in store for you. Congratulations.
Y'all are divorced. You have no reason to be at this home. I knew that that's what the police would say. But I wasn't 100% sure because truthfully speaking, I did not know this man. We can make all the jokes we want. I did not know this man. I thought I knew him, but you never really know a pathological liar. So needless to say, he got released August 30th. I went to my aunt's house for the night. August 31st, I went back to the house. The movers were there. They packed me up and we got out of there so quick. I think they packed me up in about 2 hours.
Good.
I honestly told them there is extra money in this if you guys can get me packed up, meaning loaded up onto the truck because everything was packed. But I explained to them this is a domestic situation. I need you guys to move quickly.
Good.
When I moved out of that house on August 31st, anything that Legion touched, I got rid of. I sold the furniture. I sold dining room tables.
Good.
I donated plates, glasses. When I tell you I moved out and I started over, I completely purged my life. Completely started over. I mean, I was not willing to take a single item into my new home that reminded me of him. From the dishes.
Yeah, you don't want to bring that negative energy, and who needs the reminders? Like, you're free. Hopefully he's not going to bother you again, but like, you got the divorce. He's out of the place. Like, you're going on to bigger and better things. I love this lady.
In the kitchen to the towels in the linen closet. When I tell you Amazon and Ross were my best friends, I mean, they were my best friends because I could not fathom moving into a new home, a new space with anything that reminded me of him. I sold the bed, got a new bed.
Good.
If he had bought me clothes, I got rid of them. If he bought me shoes and purses, okay, I kind of kept the heels, but everything else I got rid of. So I completely purged my life, completely. Started over from the bottom in terms of just the move. I could not take any piece of him with me.
Yeah.
Could not. Part 49, who the fuck did I marry? So after the whole, I moved and I started over, basically, completely started over. So there was a period of time where different people had reached out to me, people who knew him, apparently he was still trying to find a couch to sleep on. And so one guy in particular had reached out to me because I guess Legion had asked him if he could come and stay with him and his family because he was homeless and had nowhere to go. And so he had lied and told the guy, because again, he's a liar. So he had lied and told the guy that, I had kicked him out. We're divorced. I had taken all his money. And so that's why he's homeless. So the gentleman simply was reaching out to me on Facebook to confirm what is actually true. And he and I talked, because he ended up calling me. He and I talked for a while. Very respectful, really nice guy, very compassionate. And so I told him, I was like, I said, we're divorced. So I have nothing to do with him. I said, I wouldn't bring him in my house with my family if I were you. But that's just me. And so the guy was like, lady, he didn't say lady, but he was like, lady, you dodged a bullet. He was like, I know you may not see it now, my sister, but you dodged a bullet.
Wow.
You dodged a bullet big time. And so, just in talking to him, he was very encouraging. Like, it sounds like you got a good head on your shoulders. It sounds like you're a good woman. And no, he was not flirting at all. He was like, it sounds like you're a good woman. And I really hope this does not mess you up. Like, don't let him mess you up. Don't let him like diminish your shine kind of thing. And I appreciate that. I did, because at that time, again, had moved into my new place. 2021 was the worst year I ever had. I'm not saying that so that 2024 can be like, hold my beer. But 2021 was a dark year. Started out married, end of the year, divorce, end of the year with COVID and divorce. And that period of time, that August, September time, I felt like I was just walking around like a numb woman.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't know what to do, because I felt like I had just been through hell. And it was a period of time where I had to sit down and I had to really, really deal with some stuff that I just simply was not ready to deal with. Things that I had to come to grips with that I really wasn't ready to come to grips with. So fast forward all this time, get to December of 2021. Yes, this is where the story does end. Get to December of 2021.
I don't want it to end.
I am out sick with COVID. I'm not at work. I get a phone call from my coworker telling me that Legion has called our job looking for me and was trying to get information on how to reach me. Yes, I had already changed my number. Again, I had already moved, but he knew where I worked. So apparently he had called trying to find me. And the person that answered the phone was like, we're not going to give you that information. So he said, well, can you ask her to give me a call? I'm just trying to get a hold of her so I can get my stuff. The stuff he's talking about are those tote bags from July.
Yeah.
So he was calling. And it was a problem. He was trying to reach out to me on Facebook. He was trying to reach out to family members on Facebook, trying to get me to call him so that he could make arrangements to come get his stuff. The devil is a lie. So my friend Tracy, who came to my rescue again, my friend Tracy was like, okay, here's what you're going to do. She said, you're going to send him a message and you are going to say these exact words. Send him a text message, she said. And she told me, you're going to send a text message because it's going to be timestamped. And basically the text message says, I do not have your stuff. I did not have your stuff. I have nothing that belongs to you. If you continue to, you are disrupting the work of my job by calling and asking for me. We have no contact with each other. Yeah. I will send you a copy of the divorce decree that shows whatever is in your possession you own and whatever is in my possession I own. If you contact me directly or indirectly ever again, I will get a restraining order on you. Oh. Now, for those of you who are watching this in 2024, and you're probably like, wow, she's dramatic. Please understand that what I just said, I meant.
Yeah.
I mean that. If you ever try to contact me directly or indirectly, I will get a restraining order. I have it in writing. I've always had it in writing. And if I need to rewrite it again in 2024, I will, because the boundaries still stand.
Leave her alone, Legion. Leave her alone.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the last time I had any contact whatsoever with my pathologically lying ex-husband. Part 50, who the fuck did I marry? So, the aftermath. There's some realizations I had to come to after the divorce and everything had passed. One, Legion never loved me. He never loved me. He doesn't love himself, so I know he didn't love me. Number two, he didn't even like me. He watched me get excited about things that he knew I was not going to get. And not even just the possession stuff. Like, of course, we know I was excited to be the woman whose husband is like, I'm taking my wife to London. I was excited to be the woman whose husband was like, yeah, I bought my wife a brand new BMW X5. You have to understand, as all the jokes that we make about the BMW, It was the time and effort that he spent in taking me to dealerships and being sure to put me in the car and test drive the car and, oh, I can see you in this. I like this for you. It seems safe. It was the effort to really make me believe that he was going to get this just for him to fuck with me. The effort in taking me to all these homes, to see my face light up as a woman who grew up on welfare, to be able to walk into these 4 and 5 bedroom homes knowing that he didn't have any money to buy it. Imagine if he had just been honest and said, hey, I like in my free time to go to open houses and just see how the other people live. Imagine if he had just said that versus wasting not only my time, but wasting the time of the realtors who did nothing wrong. There's a level of cruelty to my ex-husband that I had never experienced before. And God knows, I pray I never experience it again. That's the word that comes to mind when I think of him. He is cruel and it wasn't just me. He did it to the ex-wife. So do I trust? No. I trust the people who were in my life before him. If we were friends or if we were in a relationship or whatever, and I knew you before him, I trust you explicitly. But if you're somebody I just met, I don't trust you. I don't. There's no point in me getting on here and saying and making it seem like, oh, I'm so strong, I'm so brave. I struggle big time. Because on one hand, I want to like someone. On the other hand, I'm immediately thinking, what if it's a repeat? And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I can't go through that again. I can't. Every single thing in our relationship was a lie. It took me a while to realize every single day this man lied to me. Every single day he lied to me. Every conversation he had was a lie. I will never know how much he lied to me. I'll never know. I've made my peace with it. I will never know how deep it really truly goes. I only know what I experienced, and I only know what God allowed me to see. But I'm willing to bet that there's a lot I still don't know. When people say, oh, you dodged a bullet, like you just, and I've read a lot of the comments on this, and people have sent me a lot of the comments. And so I need to make one thing very clear. I am fully aware I dodged a bullet. I am so grateful to my God that I did not have that man's child. I'm sorry if that offends some of you, but it's the truth. I'm grateful that
I think it's crazy. I didn't want to cut her off because this is like truly her moment. And I'm like sitting over here crying with her. Truly, like whatever you believe in, like someone has been looking out for her in so many different ways. We've seen her dodge so many bullets, him being the main one, but it's crazy. Like it makes you believe that there's something out there, at least for me. Like just whatever you guys believe is fine. But like I've seen in this story how many times like something, a greater power, whatever you believe in, has helped her out majorly.
we didn't buy a house and that I'm not financially tied to him in any way, shape, or form. But I'm also grateful for the fact that there are things about my ex-husband that I discovered in terms of how he is when it comes to other women. And I'm grateful that God has kept me and protected me. That's all I'm saying. So when I started out making this series and I made the decision to tell my story, my motive was, I just want to help one person. If there is a woman out there who's like, God, I want to be married and I met this guy and something don't seem right, but maybe it's not that bad. My advice is, honey, just go ahead and do your research, because I can honestly tell you, being single sucks. Okay. In my opinion, sometimes it sucks, but being married to the wrong person is a type of hell no one should have to go through. You should not have to be married to someone that does not like you. You should not have to be married to someone that doesn't even love you. And I know,
you guys think of somebody out there who needs to hear that?
what that is like. I know what it's like to be told, hey, babe, I love you. And yet, I swear, I think that man sat back in the recliner with his WWE Championship Roman Reigns belt and laughed his ass off at me every day. Like, damn, she really believed it. Ha, 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 ha.
Hugh, did that hit home? You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I really do think that. My radar was broken because I am an intelligent woman, and I know that I know better. And I still sometimes ask myself, how the fuck did you let this happen? How did you let this be your story? All because at the time I wanted it to be my turn, and I hoped it was my turn. And when people say, well, what do you mean by that? I just meant, we all see it. whether it's social media or real life, we all see where a woman she done been through some stuff, and she finally met someone who appreciates, loves, and respects her, and it is a beautiful thing. I had hoped that when I met him, it was my turn for that. And instead of being obedient, I wanted to be right, and I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And the cost of that decision was heavy. The toll of reliving this whole scenario was heavy. It was. I'm almost surprised at how hard it was to actually finish this playlist. Not because I could remember stuff. I probably remember way more details than what I actually put out. But it's just the fact that it's like I'm reminding myself, how did you let this happen? So, therapy is real. Therapy helps. Stella Rosa Black helps too. And yes, I will one day get to London. I will get my dark blue BMW X5 cognac interior. I believe I will get those things. Just got to get them a different route. So, thank you all for being on the playlist of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? I promise I will go live, and I will let you all know when I go live so that we can have a wine night full of question and answers. Thank you for watching.
Drop down in the comments if y'all want to discuss this on a live or something like that, because this was such a...
Oh my gosh. I'm over here ugly crying like Kim Kardashian because, like, okay, that was all very powerful. The whole ending part, like, oh my gosh. My heart like breaks for her, but at the same time, like, I'm so happy because I know she's making it to London. I know that trip is going to happen. Yeah, she's off to London. I think she's going to get her BMW, and I think she's never going to need anything from a man ever again. I know she really wants to get married and all that stuff, but I truly feel like she went through all this for a reason. It sucks. It sucks, but I feel like she's also like taught all of us something. Like, I'm seriously taking away, I don't plan on dating anytime soon, but if I do, like, research. If you're out there right now and you're on those dating apps, like, people can truly be whoever they want to be. They could be an astronaut. They could be whatever. You really have to do your research. And especially the stuff we found out about this guy pretending to be law enforcement, trying to pat people down. Like, if there's one of him out there, there's many more. So be careful, you guys. Mandy, thank you so much, Team Ugly Crying. I'm so, like, I feel so bad for her. She's so beautiful, like, such a beautiful person. And it's sad to think that, like, she went through all that. And, like, the bigger part too is, like, she lost a child through all this. So it's not just like all these other losses. Yeah, they suck, but like that has to still like affect you, right? It has to. I hope this was some form of therapy to her. I really do. Mandy, thank you so much. Thank you. I know. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching that with me. And it's not over. Tomorrow, we are going to be watching, hold on, I'll let you know the video we're going to be covering. Hugh sent it to me, and I know it's an interview with his ex-wife and also the stepson, correct? Hold on, I'm trying to find it. So it's titled The Unraveling of Who the F Did I Marry? Stepson, Ex-Wife, and Ex-Girlfriend Speak Out. And it's on a channel called The Real Talk with Yanni? I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. So tomorrow, I don't know what time we're going live yet, but when I have a time in mind, I will set it up and it'll just be a dedicated stream to that. Yeah, it's not over. It's not over. He responded to, yeah, so I played a clip. I think I deleted it off my phone because I didn't want him on there, to be honest. I'm so grossed out. But yesterday, I want to say, or was it earlier? I don't know. I played a clip from him saying that he's saying that she's lying. She's the one who cheated on him with somebody named Bradley. And he was basically going to shop around his story and see who he can get to cover it. I probably will not be covering his interview because I don't want to give him, I don't even want to show his face on here, to be honest. I'm not going to give him that attention. So maybe if we hear something about it somewhere else or she responds, how about this? If she responds in any way, I don't think she will, but if she does, we'll cover what she has to say. Yeah, bad vibes. We're staying away from him. Hey, Sheila. Hey. He said he's a proven liar times 3 to 4 women. Yes, exactly. No, like he's not. I don't know how these guys, it's always the guys who are unattractive who manage to pull off like the biggest romance scams. But yeah, like the women he's pulled are way better looking than he is. Yes, Bradley, Officer Bradley. My gosh, I want to know, was Willie real at all? Is there a Willie out there? All right, you guys. So I want to thank you so much for watching this week with me. It's meant a lot. Like, I appreciate you guys. I know a lot of people wanted to like skip ahead and see what happened. So I loved getting to watch this with you guys and going through all the emotions together. And it's nice to cover other things than foodie beauty and watch this woman actually change her life and do things to help other people, not just herself. You know, I think it's very inspiring. And I'm here to support her. I am. Yeah, it's so good. He's only Willie as his little Willie. All right, you guys. So I am gonna go for now. Like I said, I know Foodie did mukbang. She ate some more. And basically on Twitter, everybody's talking about how she's part of this group that they're helping each other out and subscribing to each other's channels and how it's breaking terms of service. So she might lose her channel while she's trying to get her subscribers up for her birthday and to get that plaque. So that's kind of what's going on right now with Foodie. Nothing really changes other than she gains more weight, you know, she gets more vile. So it's very nice to see something actually inspiring. You know what I mean? It was so good, Logic. So, okay. Look for me tomorrow, you guys. When I know a time, I'll set it up maybe like a half hour in advance so we can grab our coffee or snacks or whatever. And we're going to make a specific stream just for Who the F Did I Marry? All right, you guys. Thanks again. Have a great day, great evening wherever you are. And I will see you so soon. Bye, everybody. Logic, we will miss you, Willie. We will. Bye.